On Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com. A caring team is making the season bright for children in the Crossroads by delivering presents, what you need to know. And lives are lost and many more remain missing after a catastrophic incident involving a cargo plane. Plus, emergency crews from across the region rushed to the scene of a fire, impacting several residents.
And once again, if you thought yesterday was warm, get a load of our temperatures coming away for later this week. Yep, we're going to be near 90. Now, if you don't like that, we still have a cold front coming this weekend, and it's coming from the polar vortex. All that in the weather coming up.
And Dave Campbell reveals the top athletes for the Whataburger Super Team. See the 5 standout athletes who made the list later on. Sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads, and welcome to your Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, Friday Eve. We're real close to the weekend, aren't we?
I think so.
Getting closer.
And Parker, you mentioned you painted pumpkins.
I did.
And you're worried about it rotting, but did you cut into it?
I did. So
okay.
I'm a big Star Wars fan, and what I did with my pumpkin this year is I painted the Death Star because it's a big circle, right?
Yeah.
And in the middle of the Death Star, there's like a little indenture in the middle, so I had to cut into it.
Oh,
also
man.
for the big laser coming out, so. But we got plenty more time to talk about that another day, because this morning we got another lovely cool morning out there and a lovely beautiful sunrise as well. But if you look really closely, you can see exactly what we were talking about all morning long. Look out in the distance, y'all. You see that kind of clear stuff right there? That's fog. Something that we're of course used to down here on the coast. Starting at the day 51 degrees, and that's out in Victoria County. In the city, temperatures are running about 4 or 5 degrees warmer with urban heat island effect taking place. You can see that right here on our 25 News Now ticker. 56 being reported right out the side station on Navarro. But temperatures 51 is matching that dew point at 51, bringing us 100% humidity, and that's exactly why we have a little bit of patchy fog. And I say patchy because you can see on our visibility map, it's kind of patchy all around the Crossroads this morning. So if you're going to be hitting the roads, just make sure to stay safe, increase your following distance between you and the car in front of you, and also use your low beam headlights, especially with dense fog advisories in effect from the National Weather Service, and that's going to go until 9 a.m. when the fog starts clearing. But we have a little bit of fog out there this morning because of our temperatures. Like I said, cooling down to the dew point. Got lots of low 50s out there, even a couple upper 40s trying to sneak into the picture, but also some mid and upper 60s, because y'all folks on the coast are right next to that warm Gulf water. So if you're sending your kiddos out the door this morning, all that means is grab them a light jacket, but also pack them those sunglasses, because it's going to be another sunny and warm day. We'll have all those details next.
An early morning fire at a Wharton apartment complex prompted evacuations. Emergency crews from across the region were on the scene at the River Bend apartment complex on Junior College Boulevard. 8 units were affected by the fire, 2 of which were vacant at the time of the fire. Police say on social media that all residents were evacuated safely, and state officials say the fire was not criminal. The trial for Jason Ashley Brannon is underway at the federal courthouse in downtown Victoria. The jury trial began Monday. On June 5th, 2024, a federal grand jury indicted Brannon on 5 counts of money laundering. Authorities arrested Brannon on May 14th that year, following an arrest warrant issued on May 13th. The warrant followed a sting operation conducted by the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation Division. A court affidavit says Brannon laundered money through his company J&B Cleaning Incorporated. The jury recessed late Wednesday afternoon, but the trial will resume this morning at 8:30. If found guilty, Brannon could possibly face prison time, fines, and/or seizure of property. Registration is now open for the Marine Corps Reserve's 78th annual Toys for Tots campaign. Registration started Saturday and runs through Monday, December 15th. Parents or guardians can get their children signed up now to receive gifts for Christmas. The local Toys for Tots director encourages those who are able to donate any toy they can, so children don't go without gifts this holiday season.
It's really important to me. Myself, I've taken it personally because I've actually used Toys for Tots in the past for myself, because, you know, being a struggling parent and, you know, not being able to provide to give the kids a Christmas, you know, and there are people out there to help you to make sure that you don't have that. I mean, lots of parents already have trouble, you know, coming up with bill money, rent money, you know, so this is just a little off their shoulders.
There's also a Toys for Tots app where you can find donation locations, apply for assistance, or donate online right from your smartphone. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court listened to oral arguments on President Trump's global tariffs. The justices questioned Trump's lawyer on whether the president had the authority to impose sweeping tariffs under a law used during national emergencies. Justices agreed there is no current emergency to warrant the authorization. They also noted taxes on Americans have always been a core power of Congress and not the president. If SCOTUS overturns the tariffs, businesses could demand the government pay back the revenue raised since August, which is about $86 billion worth. In Kentucky, the death toll is rising and people are still missing. ABC's Mola Lenghi has the story following the moments after a terrifying plane crash in Louisville.
This morning, the search for answers after this UPS cargo jet in Louisville, loaded with nearly 250,000 pounds of fuel, lost an engine during takeoff. 12 people are confirmed dead, including a child, but that number could rise.
Oh my God!
NTSB investigators say they found the plane's black boxes and are reviewing videos showing the flight bound for Honolulu barreling down the runway with its left engine on fire.
And we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll.
As the aircraft begins to rotate and tries to gain altitude, we see sparks coming out of the center engine, which suggests that some of the debris may have damaged the second engine.
This truck driver's dashboard camera capturing the moment the plane hit the ground, skidding on its side. The crash badly damaging a petroleum recycling plant and an auto parts warehouse.
Did everybody make it out? No. What do you mean no? No!
3 employees of the auto parts business are still missing. The CEO tells us his business looks like a war zone, adding the plane is in pieces. The fuselage is where one of our administration offices used to be. It was very tough. The governor and Louisville's mayor touring the crash site yesterday. The wreckage still smoldering. The plane had been out of service for maintenance for much of the last month, and once again over the weekend.
Basically, what we had here was probably one of the worst in history, if not the worst, uncontained engine failures.
Well, the debris field from the explosion is pretty big. People in the surrounding areas are asked to call police if they find any wreckage. Mola Lenghi, ABC News, New York.
Nearly 5 million food stamp recipients will not receive any benefits in November. The Department of Agriculture said Monday it would issue partial benefits this month by tapping into the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program's contingency fund. But some families receiving assistance make too much money to receive partial benefits. That's according to a new analysis. And here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. The stoppage of SNAP benefits alarms food bank leaders, and Cuero High School gets a student media education grant. To read these stories and more, go to DeWakeCountyToday.com. A special report of ABC's 2020 will celebrate 40 years of the Golden Girls. With interviews from the series' creator, director, and executive producers, viewers will get a behind-the-scenes look with never-before-seen footage. The Golden Girls have captivated generations, tackling groundbreaking topics and redefining aging. The special, The Golden Girls 40 Years of Laughter and Friendship, airs Tuesday. For more local news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. The time is now 6:38 on our Thursday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. No winning tickets were sold in the latest drawing, leaving the jackpot at historic levels.
Many families could see their flights canceled starting tomorrow as the shutdown drags on. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with the details and the growing concern over air safety.
And also coming up next after the break and the short-term forecast, you heard me say today is going to be another warm one all across Texas. So coming up next, I'll tell you just how warm I think it'll be near you.
A powerful story of brotherhood and strength lives on beyond the game. One player's legacy is inspiring a new season and a new generation.
Walks around the hallway, goes up and down 2 flights of stairs, runs up the stairs, and they're like, whoa, 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 take it easy, you know? But that's not him, that's not who he was. He was gonna push himself.
Don't miss Legacy of Courage with weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson. A 25 News Now Extra, tonight at 10 on 25 News Now.
Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Thursday. I hope y'all are as excited as I am for the weekend because, well, it's right around the corner. Also, we've got lots of football games going on. My Aggies are playing. We're going to destroy Missouri Tigers, of course. And, of course, we also have a cold front coming away this weekend that's going to bring back the lovely fall weather, which I'm sure all of y'all are very impatiently waiting for. And I say impatiently because before the front gets here, y'all know it's going to be sunny and warm out there. This is South Texas. And in fact, this whole time I've been talking, I've been pressing play in the future tracker. Did you see anything in terms of clouds out there? Not really. Maybe a few passing clouds for the morning time. We're talking between 7 to 9 a.m. when the fog tries to burn off. But otherwise, the rest of the daytime, I mean, we're all the way into Friday by now. For the rest of the daytimes, we're looking pretty sunny out there. So grab your sunglasses if you're headed out the door because that beaming Texas sun today going to heat us up a little bit more than yesterday. I'm thinking 86 here in Victoria, and that is 9 degrees above where we're supposed to be. Our climatological average this time of year is 77. And our low temperatures underneath clear skies, I'm thinking 60 here in Victoria, and that too is also 6 degrees above where we're supposed to be. And everyone else today going to be looking about the same for highs, thinking mid 80s, possibly upper 80s in our western counties, getting closer to Three Rivers down here where they're going to be about 90. And overnight tonight, most of us, like I said, going to be dropping down into the upper 50s, some of us in the low 60s. And tomorrow, if you thought today was warm, we'll be even warmer with most of us getting to near 90. But then everything changes because we have a cold front coming this weekend, and it's going to be bringing us some fire danger and chilly weather. All that coming up next.
Earlier this week, Dave Campbell's Texas High School football revealed the Whataburger Super Team nominees for 2A and 5A ranks. We had some nominees mentioned from the Crossroads, and Goliad's defensive back Brody Brockhauser, wide receiver Lamont Franklin, then Victoria West linebacker Jacob Freeman was named, and then 2 quarterbacks in Cueros Jackson Marie and then Tidehaven's Cale Russell were also named to the list there for the Super Team nominees. Now, if you want to vote for one of these guys, just type in TexasFootball.com/What Super Team on Dave Campbell's Texas High School football to kind of cast in your votes. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
At 37 days, the government shutdown is now considered the longest in U.S. history. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington as thousands of flights across the country are about to be canceled.
This morning, the government shut down reaching day 37 and putting a growing strain on air travel. The FAA reducing flight capacity by up to 10%, impacting thousands of domestic flights at nearly 40 major airports by this weekend. ABC News overnight exclusively obtaining the list of the 40 airports that will be affected, from Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta to LAX in Los Angeles, and from Miami to JFK in New York.
This is about where is the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure.
It comes as air traffic controllers and TSA officers go nearly 6 weeks without pay and are now increasingly calling out sick. In the meantime, FAA employees warn the impacts on air safety could get worse the longer the shutdown drags on.
We wish to stay vigilant when we want to, and we have every intent to, but at some point, if it's between me and my pride versus my son going without, not eating, or my wife not being able to take her medication, I will be forced to make a decision.
Overnight, United Airlines saying it will offer refunds to anyone who does not wish to fly while the flight reductions are in effect. Frontier CEO going further, making this recommendation. If your flight is canceled, your chances of being stranded are high, so I would simply have a backup ticket on another airline. On Capitol Hill, cuts to Medicaid and healthcare subsidies are still the major sticking point, with both sides refusing to budge. And sources say the FAA will begin cutting 4% of flights tomorrow, will then ramp up to 10% of flights through this coming weekend if the government is still shut down. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
The Mega Millions jackpot now stands at an estimated $843 million. News from the lottery officials comes after no winning tickets were sold in Tuesday's drawing. This is now the 8th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history. The next drawing will take place late Friday night. And here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Seadrift City Council is moving forward on its wastewater treatment plant rehab project. And Port O'Connor Elementary School kindergarteners learned about bats in class. You can read these stories and more by going to portlavacawave.com. And if you see news happening, let us know. Call the number on your screen to contact our newsroom or email us your tips at staff@crossroadstoday.com. It's now 6:46 on our Thursday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. The teacher at the center of a case is suing a school district for millions. All right, it's time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Nikki. May you have a blessed day with many more to come. Happy birthday from your fabulous daughters, Zakari, Mom, Dad, Mika, Lee, the pup Jazzy, and your whole family.
Oh, happy birthday, Nikki. And also, Emma Stone is celebrating a birthday today. The two-time Oscar winner is 37. Happy birthday, Emma. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com. Just click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
It's now, let's get a look at our clock, 6:47 on our Thursday morning. I want to wish a very happy birthday to Amy, and happy birthday to you if you're celebrating one today. Stay with us.
That's right, stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw the 7-day forecast a few moments ago, and you saw exactly what I was talking about. How we're going to be a little bit warm for the next few days, definitely warm for November, because it is November. We'll be looking for highs reaching near 90 for Friday and Saturday. But once again, if that's not for you, I'm sure y'all are very impatiently waiting for a cold front. It'll be here Sunday morning, and it'll be here throughout the entire day Sunday, bringing us wind gusts 30 to 35 miles an hour, but also some very dry air for fire danger. That's why we have an alert day up. We're going to look at those details in a second. But more importantly, after the front passes and after our dry day is all said and done with on Sunday, we're looking at some cooler weather for next week for at least a couple days, because you're going to see right here the winds are coming right back out of the south to warm us back into the 80s for late next week. But we will have a couple cool, chilly mornings, especially Veterans Day early morning. We'll see low temperatures starting out the day in the 30s, maybe even mid-30s, with wind chills close to below freezing in our northern counties. So I hope you've got your jacket washed and ready to go, even though it's warm out there. But this weekend, like I said, we have that alert day for Sunday for all 13 of our Crossroads counties, to which y'all could expect that very dry, desert dry humidity, 10 to 20%, but also some very gusty winds, 25 to 35 miles an hour. And if you combine those conditions, that leads to fire danger, because if you have an open flame out there in the breezy, dry wind, that flame or the spark can carry into the nearby pasture and start that fire. But if you're wondering where the front's coming from, it's coming from this right here. It's the polar vortex. And I know that sounds scary. It will be scary for the northeastern states because they're going to be really cold. But a couple other low systems coming out of the Pacific are going to drag the polar vortex further south. And that's why we're going to be looking at a front with these details for this weekend. And we'll look at all that and more later on Sunrise.
Now to Virginia and closing arguments at a civil trial. ABC's Sophie Flay has the latest from the trial for the shooting of a first-grade teacher by her student.
A Virginia jury is now deliberating the case of former teacher Abby Zwerner, who was shot during class by her 6-year-old student back in 2023. Zwerner is suing Newport News Schools for $40 million. Her lawyers argue the assistant principal at the time, Ebony Parker, failed to act after being told multiple times that the boy had a gun.
Dr. Parker sat on her hands. At 12:21 p.m., if Dr. Parker was doing her job, she would have walked into that room, grabbed that book bag, and none of these questions would have ever been asked ever again.
Zwerner's lawyers also claim Parker denied requests from teachers to search the boy's pockets for a weapon. Parker's lawyers insist she acted cautiously and wanted to wait for the boy's mother before searching him. They also argue if the teachers thought the threat was so serious, they could have called 911. The defense also pointing to the low likelihood of a 6-year-old bringing a gun to school.
It was a tragedy that until that day was unprecedented, it was unthinkable, and it was unforeseeable. And I ask that you please not compound that tragedy by blaming Dr. Parker for it.
Earlier in the trial, Zwerner testified about the moments a bullet traveled through her hand, then into her chest.
I thought I had died. I thought I was either on my way to heaven or in heaven.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. The holiday season is nearly here, and with it, the busiest days of air travel are fast approaching. The holiday season is just around the corner, and the busiest air travel days of the year are approaching. More than 31 million people plan on flying to their Thanksgiving destination from Friday, November 21st through Monday, December 1st. An all-time high. It comes as the FAA plans to reduce flights by 10% at 40 of the nation's busiest airports starting Friday due to the government shutdown, which could prompt widespread impacts on air travel. A federal judge has ordered immediate improvements at a U.S. ICE processing facility near Chicago. The judge issued an emergency restraining order Wednesday after hearing testimony from former detainees. The order requires officials to provide detainees clean bedding, regular showers, 3 meals a day, and the ability to call their attorney. The emergency order will remain in effect until November 19th. A recall alert has been announced for Jeep owners. Chrysler recalled 320,000 Jeep plug-in hybrids due to a battery issue. Officials say a faulty battery in the recalled vehicles can fail and cause a fire. The recall involves Jeep Wranglers with model years 2020 to 2025 and Grand Cherokees with model years 2022 to 2026. Owners are advised to park outside and away from buildings until a solution is found. Elon Musk facing a vote today that could lead him to becoming the world's first trillionaire. Tesla's annual shareholders meeting is today, and they're considering a package for Musk. If the company hits its targets, it could push his net worth over $1 trillion. Some Musk backers say he may leave the company if he doesn't get it. Port Lavaca residents are asked to limit water use today. The Undine water treatment plant will be offline starting at 7 this morning, so in a few minutes, for about 8 to 12 hours for upgrades. Water will still be available, and city crews are filling storage tanks in advance, but residents should only use water as needed. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And we have a fog warning from Parker. Parker, is it going to be a little tough to get to where we need to go this morning?
Well, for some of us it will be, because we do have a little bit of that fog. It's kind of patchy in nature all around the crossroads this morning. We're going to look at that fog map right after this, because I want to show you, because you can kind of see what we're talking about. Patchy, this is dictionary definition of patchy, y'all. You can kind of see it, what we're talking about way out in the distance, way out in the background, on the tops of the trees where there's more water transpiration happening, a little bit further away from the city. That's where there's going to be a little bit of light fog out there this morning. So just make sure to stay safe and be careful if you're going to be driving this morning. Use those low beam headlights and have a safer driving distance between you and the car in front of you. But otherwise, starting out a little bit chilly as well, just a little bit. 52 right now out in county and the inner city. We're starting out temperatures a little bit warmer, 56. You can see that right here on our ticker. But like I was saying, with the humidity, the dew point matching the temperature, that's why we have 100% humidity, allowing for fog to form. So just stay safe. As you can see, it's all around the crossroads this morning. And that's exactly why Carolina was just saying the National Weather Service has issued dense fog advisories, and that's going to go until 9 a.m. because it'll clear up around then. And then we're looking for sunny skies the entire day to heat us up to about 83 in Port Lavaca and a bit warmer in Victoria. I'm thinking 86 today. And if you don't think that's warm enough, don't you worry. We'll be 90 by tomorrow and Saturday. And then we have fall weather finally back in the forecast with the cold front this weekend.
Thank y'all for being with us this morning. Be sure to join Shada, Don, Maclovio, and Max today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. Have a great day.